Hey, it's Jen with another Tech Tips 411 tutorial. Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite tools for engaging learners both virtually and in a hybrid learning setting. Whiteboard Chat has been around for a while, and I created a video a while ago showing the initial features that were available. And since then, there have been so many updates that I wanted to highlight those new features and just give you an overview of Whiteboard Chat. So if you're new to Whiteboard Chat, I'm going to show you everything that you can do with it and some specific examples that you can use for lessons, as well as ways to level up your use of Whiteboard Chat. So here I am at the Whiteboard.chat website, and the first thing you're going to want to do is click on Start Drawing. When you select that, you have a couple of options. The first is to start teaching. The next is to start collaborating, which means you're just going to grab a board and work with someone. And the other is to manage your boards that you have access to. Additionally, you can join a classroom code, so if your students are using this. But I'm going to show you the best ways for you to share this out with your students. So I want to start teaching, and I'm going to click on that. I can go down here. I can change my name. Got Jen TT411. I can change my color. When you change your pen color, it changes your board color. I, of course, want it to be in the blue range. Kids love this because that means they can change it up to fit their mood, and that's going to be the color of my pen. So the next thing I'm going to do as a teacher is I'm going to go ahead and name this, and we're going to call this Demo. So I've labeled it, and now let's walk through the tools over here on the left-hand side. Expand it so you know what these tools are for. Refreshing obviously updates your board. You can go to manage your boards. I can add grids. In the grids, I've got all of these options, which is great for math activities. They've got big grids, handwriting grids, line paper, coordinate plane, primary line, programming grids, music sheets, syllaboard, Elonkin, grid painter, grid box, dot painter, and you can clear your grids. So lots of options. You can start with a blank canvas and add a grid. If I choose to go home, it takes me back to that login screen, whether or not I want to teach, collaborate, or manage my boards. I can download my board once I'm done with it and save it as the page, the whole class, a single page, whole class is a single PDF, a whole class, one PDF per scholar, or download a report. So you have lots of options when you're done with your activity. I can pause animations, and I'll show you what animations look like here shortly. I can add in media. When I select add media, I can add it from my webcam. I can take a photo and add content directly to the board, or I can add video and audio from my webcam. I can select something to resize it and move it. I can select here. When I do that, I can select and move things around. I can go to tools, and this is where I'm going to see all of these options. I can draw lines, arrows, shapes, select and crop things. I can add notes. I can add rich text. I can add a link. I can show dice. This is great for probability, or if you're in group tasks and you want to roll the dice based on the roles they might be assigned. I can embed YouTube, a website. I can add a compass. I've got math tools, pointers, student signal, which means I'm going to raise my hand. I need some help. I've got calculators built in, the tile factory, form factory, table factory, text box, writing software, musical instruments, and a few other tools here as well. I can also choose to upload a file. So what I want to do here is I'm going to actually add an assignment in here. What you normally would have printed out as an assignment where students maybe needed to label a map and they would color using markers and to highlight the elements on that map. What we're going to do is we're going to upload a file and do the same thing. I can upload from my computer or from Google Drive. I'm going to choose from computer. I want to add this map from Asia, and as you can see, it's added this image of the map of Asia. 7th grade standard requires that students have to label the physical features of the map and label the countries in Asia. So I've added this map. I can now go here to the draw tool, and I can actually draw on this space. So if I was talking about I wanted physical features like mountains, now notice it did it in this particular color. I could also go up here and change the color palette very easily, so I can quickly change. What's kind of cool is the color of your board tells you what color you're working with as you're drawing. That's kind of cool. Now, if I don't want to have that and I'm like, oops, that was terrible, I can undo it and redo things very easily using the undo option here. So I can clear my space very easily. When I selected that, I have math, music. So if we were in math here for my math teachers, look at all these symbols that are available. And I can also select down here, I've got music symbols. All of these are symbols that can be easily dropped onto the canvas of the whiteboard. Got letters, can design a really engaging graphic. I can also add in other additional alphabets, so looking at sounds, with images, which is great for your younger learners. I can add in phonograms, so for learning word sounds. I've got manipulatives that include blocks. So for math, I could actually add in these elements and explain these different concepts. I've got rulers, I've got squares, all of that. For manipulatives, I've got 3D shapes, so I can add in any of those 3D shapes. I've got some rewards here, which is kind of cool. So you can add in some rewards for the students, give them a shout out, great job. I can go in and give some feedback right here. If I wanted to say, I believe in you, it just drops it on there, and I can drop that on to the canvas, which is a great way just to give instant feedback to students. Got some game options. So there's some puzzle pieces and there's some game pieces, including chess. You can play chess on the whiteboard. Just a great critical thinking skill opportunity. I've got patterns and I've got all this currency. This is a great way to engage students in a discussion about currencies around the world, and they keep adding more things. They've got experiments. I can add in these different experiment icons for that science activity. I've got electrical, chemistry symbols, including the periodic table. I can actually add the periodic table to my workspace, drop it in there, and actually annotate that for students. All right, again, undo, redo makes it very easy to remove items. We've got biology ones, robots. I mean, who doesn't love robots? We've got different languages as well. With ASL, they have also got animals, stickers based on holidays. I've got emojis and stickers so you can give reactions. This is a great check-in option for students. They can go through and grab an emoji, how they're feeling about an activity. They've got a couple of mind maps. Probably will have some more coming. We got Venn diagrams, timelines, and Freyer model in there right now. And they've got some widgets, including a clock, colored clock, spinner, student name spinner, and a super dice. So many features right here inside of Whiteboard Chat that you don't have to leave the space. That's what makes it powerful, is the fact that this is all here. I don't have to go to different websites. It's all on one screen. Moving along with some features, I did want to also point out students can raise their hand and say they need a little assistance. You can set a timer and you can say instant start for all students, expires at a particular time, or per student on join. So you could say they have 10 minutes, and that means that as they join, they have 10 minutes to complete a task. Some other options here under settings, you need to make sure you are logged in order to save things. So now you can see that I've logged into my account. It's not required that you have an account to log in, but in order to save your work, you need to log in. The other cool thing is that your students don't have to have an account to participate, but they can have an account if they want to be able to save their boards. Let me show you a couple other cool features here. If I go to the settings, now I can go in here and choose the default settings. So the brush, move, resize, or select depending on what you want students to do first. And start with a brush, which is painting. You can choose the default size of your board, and notice you smaller based on Chromebook and so forth. So I'm just going to go with the default size. I can choose only logged in users can join my board. So if you're working with older students and you require that they have an account, you can toggle that on. Students can only draw on their individual or group boards. That means that they only have access to that space, which is great. Students see simple tools, which means a lot of these tools over here are not going to show. So it kind of minimizes the distraction of them playing with too many tools. And this one's a great option. Students see very simple tools, which is only draw, erase, move, and text. That means you're targeting in on a particular activity you want students to complete. You can enable webcam recording, enable enter in text box. You can enable speech to text, and you can disable Immersive Reader if it's an assessment activity and you want that to be turned off. So I'm signed in and I have those options, and that's at that settings gear right up here. A couple other options. I can hit this drop down here. I can open my class boards. I can view my engagement report to see what's going on. I can autocorrect all boards. I can delete autocorrect. I can lock all objects on my page. I'm going to open up a demo student here in just a second so you can see what it looks like. I can zoom in. I've got the zoom on or off, so I can zoom in on something if need be. So if I want to share this out to students and I want them to be able to label it, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. So I'm going to remove my little sticky there. I can go to select, and when I do that, I can select this and I can just actually delete it. I can animate it. I can copy, move it, resize it, rotate it, clone it, send it to the back. So I can layer things, which is great. I can actually add link, flip horizontal, flip vertical. I can edit the Immersive Reader so the content that it's going to recognize. I can lock it, enable students to clone it, enable them to move it or not. So I can lock it, fix the size, and I can add it to my palette, and I can make it a jigsaw. So right now I'm going to say I want to animate it. This is kind of cool, and I want to animate it, and I want it to animate the color. Look, it threw a little color around it, and so this is standing out there on the board. I can pause animations by clicking here, which means now it's not going to animate. Turn it back on. There we go. That's just kind of a cool way if you want to put like a message for students on your board for it to stand out. Another cool feature is the fact that Immersive Reader is built into Whiteboard Chat. That means that you can bring in text using the rich text tool and copy and paste text in and use the Immersive Reader function. So if I'm over here, I've added this text here from an article on time.com, and I want students to be able to have this accessible. I can actually go to the select option, and when I select it, these options pop up here so I can see all of these options. And right now I want to say read in Immersive Reader. As you can see, Immersive Reader opens up. I can choose to play the audio.
Facebook is building a version of the photo sharing tool
So I can change the voice settings. I can slow it down or speed it up as needed. I can change the voice from female to male. I can also go over here and choose the text preferences, which means I can adjust the text to be smaller or larger. This is great for visually impaired students that might need a little bit of help with larger text. I have increased spacing on. I can turn that off. That helps as well. I can change the font from Calibri to a couple of other options. This helps for dyslexic readers. I can also change the theme, which means that I can, maybe the white background is too harsh on my eyes and I can change it to black or another color. I've got options there. What's great is that once your student figures out what works for them and they go in and change these settings, it will remember it the next time that they click on to use Immersive Reader. So I can also go here for grammar options. As a former ELA teacher, this is magical. I can turn on syllables. I can also label the parts of speech and show those labels. This is a great option for your language learners. In addition to that, I can go over here to the reading preferences. So maybe it's a longer paragraph that's been added in here. I can choose line focus and turn that on as it reads to me. So if I choose that, then it will read
Instagram specifically for children under the age of 13.
One line at a time. In addition to the line focus, there is a picture dictionary, and when you click on certain words, it might pull up an image. So that's great for your language learners. And lastly, I can go down here and say choose language, and maybe you've got a student that English is not their primary language and they need to have support, and they can choose another language here, and there's over 80 languages available. So maybe I want to choose Latin America Spanish, and I want to translate the whole document, which means now automatically it's going to translate into that language, and it will also read it.
Facebook está construyendo una versión de la...
So the fact that Immersive Reader is built in to Whiteboard.chat is an amazing feature that makes this even more accessible. And again, when we go to that select tool and I selected it, it brought up all of these options right here. And I chose read in Immersive Reader. Just showed you the overview of the tools, the features. A couple other things I want to highlight is that I'm in a one-page view here. I can have multiple pages, and I'm in just my teacher view, but grid view will allow me to view students. So let me open up a student view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a demo student, and my student's name is Jen Demo. And notice now I see the same exact board. I've got orange for Jen's demo. I'm going to change my color to more bright purple there. Okay, so that's my board space, and this is everything that's happening on my board. So I'm going to toggle back over here to my teacher view. When I do that, notice now I can see that there is someone that has joined my board. I'm going to go to grid view, and I can see there's my demo Tech Tips 411. That's me as the teacher. And this right here is one that says demo. So I actually can monitor what students are doing. So I'm going to actually, on my board, this is what's powerful. I'm going to draw. I'm going to grab my brush, and I'm going to just say I'm a student that just decides to start doodling, because we know our kids like to do that, and I've doodled on my board. Now, if you're using another collaborative whiteboard software and everybody was on the same page, that would mess up everybody. But here's my doodle. But if I go over here, the doodle's on my board, but this is my board right here. Notice that I don't have those annotations. But if I want to add something else, so if I wanted to highlight something, and I was circling and talking about a country, and I was like, let's look at this right here. So notice it's in my color pen. So I've made that circle, and I'm going to be talking about this region. When we're talking about Asia, I'm talking about this country here. And notice what's happened. My drawing has appeared on that student board. So that's what's really powerful about using Whiteboard Chat, is the fact that you have this teacher space. Whatever's happening on the teacher space is going to happen on the student space, but they have that ability to work on their own without affecting the results of the collaborative board. So that's really powerful. The other powerful thing about Whiteboard Chat is the fact that you can use it for individualized instruction, even in a whole class setting, because you can actually pop into student boards. Remember, I can annotate here and it appears on all student boards. So I can go to that grid view and see that my annotation now appears on this board here. So this is that demo board, but I can select that demo board and I can choose to either showcase it, join it, or I can click cancel. So if I choose to showcase it, that's what everybody else is seeing as the highlighted board as an example. So right now I'm showcasing that student board where my annotation is and that student annotation is, and I can then go back to the instructor board. So now we're back into my board as the teacher. The other cool thing is that if I choose to go to that grid view again, and this time I might want to pop in to support this particular student. So when I select that, I have the option of joining. If you wanted to hop into a space and maybe model a math problem or an annotation or something else for that particular student. That's a great opportunity for you to be able to help them one-on-one. Or maybe you've pulled them into a breakout room setting and you hop in easily to each of those student boards. So again, that's under grid view. You can choose to join it. I'm going to go back to that instructor view. So if I want to share this out with my students, and I'm going to go ahead and clear this whole board. So if I go to clear, it's going to take everyone's stuff away. There we go. I've got this clear canvas, and I'm going to turn this into an assignment for math. So I uploaded an image, but I can also upload a PDF. So I'm adding this PDF on simplifying linear equations. Now, what I can do here is the students can actually type in text for their answer, or they can actually draw their answers here as well. So if I'm modeling this, notice what's going to happen. This is the space. If I go over to my student board, there are their doodles, but notice it automatically updated with that assignment. I'm actually going to go to select. So I'm going to select my drawing and I'm going to actually delete it. So I can take my doodles off, but notice as the teacher updated the board, it updated for the student. A couple of ways you might want to share this resource with your students. If I go to invite right here, I have a couple of options. One, students can scan a QR code. If they've got a mobile device and they happen to be in the same physical space, they can scan it and they can join the board. It does work on mobile devices. In addition to that, I can actually email links, or I can choose to go to Google Classroom and share it out that way and make it an assignment, or I can share it out in Microsoft Teams. In addition to that, I can copy this code right here and just say, go to Whiteboard Chat and join via the code. So they can click on that and give them that code. I can also give this specific hyperlink, and you can even share it during a Zoom call or a Google Meet or a Microsoft Team meeting. So there's several ways that you can have students join. Students do not have to have an account in order to join. They can join the board and it would just prompt them, put their name down here. A couple other awesome features that are available in Whiteboard Chat are the ability to start a poll. So I can go up here and say I would like to start a new poll, and then I'm going to choose send link, send poll, or vote. So if I want to send a poll, I can send it very easily for students to respond to. Another awesome feature is the fact that you can actually start an audio video call. So you're not already using a tool for your synchronous lesson such as Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, or Zoom. You can actually start an audio video call inside of Whiteboard Chat. That's kind of cool. It allows me to go to conferencing here. I can turn on my camera. I can have the microphone on, and I can participate in a video conference session inside of Whiteboard Chat. Again, leveling up by allowing students to participate in the same space as they're collaborating or working independently on their board. There's also the ability to chat with your students during a lesson, and so you can set the chat language. This allows students to participate in a chat and have the language be their native language. This is a great feature for accessibility. You might want to level up your use of Whiteboard Chat. One of my favorite resources that has amazing templates is Slidesmania, slidesmania.com. It has so many cool templates. You can use them inside of Whiteboard Chat. So what's cool is Slidesmania has them as PowerPoint or Google Slides templates. In Google Slides, you can modify and export it either as a JPEG, PNG, or as a PDF. So you can scroll through here and get some inspiration. If we go to education, we've got all of these interactive templates, notebook style. We go to manipulatives, notice that we have all of these options, and any of these can be customized. One way to level up your activities in Whiteboard Chat. Another one of my favorite tools that has great templates or customizable options is Canva. If you're not using Canva, I highly suggest that you sign up for a free educator account. I'll put a link in the description, so if you want to explore signing up for a Canva account, and if you submit a application for their educator program, you get access to a upgraded pro version. It's super awesome. So what's great about Canva is the fact that I can go up here and say create a design, and I could say whiteboard and search for options. Online whiteboard. They've got ready-made templates that can be easily customized for you to create engaging content for your students. So I just typed in whiteboard, and notice I've got all of these results of different whiteboard activities, all of which can be customized, and then you can export them so they can be utilized in Whiteboard.chat. Additionally, I can search for worksheets. Once you upgrade to your educator account, you have access to education presentations, infographics, and worksheets as well that are content specific. So you could take a science worksheet here that would be exported as a PDF, and then you can have the students fill in the content using Whiteboard Chat. There's flashcards, math worksheets, so many cool resources. So those are two resources. Slidesmania.com and Canva.com are two awesome resources that you might want to use to level up your use of Whiteboard Chat. So there you go. That's my overview of Whiteboard.chat, an awesome and feature-rich online collaboration whiteboard tool that you might want to be using with your students. I would like to point out that one of the things is that Whiteboard.chat is free, and therefore you only can save your activities for 10 days, and after that they're purged. But you can restart the clock on an activity, or you can download any of the activities if you still need them as an artifact. Hopefully you found this video beneficial. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching.